Hi folks, and welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering. My name's Alec Anderson and I'm speaking to you from outside Ibrox in the immediate wake of Rangers' 3-0 SPFL Premiership win over Motherwell on a dreich Wednesday night between Christmas and New Year, and what nevertheless represents 4 competitive wins out of 4 for Michael Beale at the start of his career as Rangers manager. Hell, let's throw in that mid-season friendly against Bayer Leverkusen, call it 5 wins out of 5, because I think we need just a bit more positivity coming from the stands. It's a reaction pod and I'm here not just to bring you my own reaction, but that of the crowd in general at Ibrox tonight, and the feeling wasn't one of, oh, bring on the Celtic, I can't wait for this Old Firm game on the 2nd of January. It was more, well, that's another win, that's 3 points, let's get ourselves up the road. It could have been a lot worse. I don't know if it's because there's a lot of spare Brussels sprouts to be eaten, or people want to get stuck back into their selection boxes. I think it might be more to do with the fact that this time last year we went 7 straight Premiership wins under Giovanni van Bronckhorst at the start of his career as Rangers manager, and we get slapped down pretty hard at Parkhead. But people need to start remembering these things more accurately and looking a bit more accurately at how Michael Beale is slowly but surely improving us. When we went to Parkhead last year, we'd actually been to Pittodrie and Ross County just before that, and they were the kind of hors d'oeuvres to disaster, if you like. We dropped points at both those venues before we were 3-0 down at Parkhead at half time. Michael Beale's been there in only 2nd and 3rd matches in charge to Pittodrie and to Dingwall, and he's won both those games. Not as convincingly as he might like to, but you have to look at the fact we're getting more players back. We get Borna Barisic back tonight, for example, back from the World Cup. We were 2-1 down at half time to Hibs in his first competitive game in charge. We get booed down the tunnel, win the game 3-2. We're drawn at half time at Pittodrie in his 2nd competitive game in charge. We end up going behind the second half, but we win the game in dramatic fashion in injury time. We're 1-0 up at half time at Dingwall. We keep a clean sheet. We don't add to our own score in that game, but there's a steadiness slowly creeping in. And tonight, we go out there, we're 2-0 up at half time, we're 3-0 up at full time, another clean sheet, and for the first time since the 29th of October, since we beat Aberdeen 4-1 here, we can use the phrase Rangers extended their lead. We've been reacting badly for probably a couple of years now to conceding the first goal or to scoring the first goal. Not tonight. We did really well. We started kind of badly. I mean, we had, I think, conceded 3 corners in the first 8 minutes. We conceded a corner to Motherwell after about 20 odd seconds, but we got there in the end. 5 changes to the team that took the park at Dingwall. The big kind of headlines were Alan McGregor was back in goal. So John McLaughlin, despite his rehabilitation from Parkhead earlier this season, starting with that good save he made up at Dingwall and the clean sheet he kept against Ross County. Alan McGregor, having recovered from flu, seems very much to be Michael Beale's first choice as Rangers goalkeeper. As I say, Borna was back with his big bronze FIFA medal dangling in front of his Rangers crest tonight, and what a difference he made. We had Alfredo Morelos starting the game tonight, back up front, playing through the middle instead of Fashion Sakala, which was a great improvement. No offence to Fashion, because obviously that's not his favoured position. Ryan Jack started the game, and with young Alec Lowry in midfield tonight, playing slightly to the left of the midfield. After Michael Beale had said that he was going to have to do more to impress his teammates if he wanted to get a starting berth. So that was a bit of a surprise to me, but there he was starting the game tonight, and he's done okay for himself. 13th minute, Borna gets the ball out on the left hand side, whips in one of those laser accurate crosses of his, and there's Alfie about 6 yards out from goal, bang in the centre of the goal, headbutts that thing almost through the Motherwell goalkeeper and through the back of the net. 1-0 to Rangers. 39th minute, Borna goes over to take a corner on the right hand side, so we're getting those kind of in-swingers from him as well. Straight on the head of Connor Goldson, who's out muscling his opposite man in the box, and we know we've seen Connor doing that a few times over the years, and it doesn't result in anything other than the ball getting headed over the bar. Tonight it gets headed in off the underside of the bar and behind the Motherwell goalkeeper. 2-0, and it was at that point really that we started to play some football, because before that we'd had a few moments. Motherwell weren't pressuring us or anything like that in any kind of sustained way, but the way we're set up with this kind of John Lundstrom starting off, sitting between the 2 centre halves, and then just advancing slowly forward, almost kind of quarterbacking the game from this deep position, and letting everybody else, including the wing backs, go really high up the park. It leaves a bit of, we're quite narrow in our own half. If we're caught in the count, I think Motherwell were kind of slightly targeting that, trying to come at us, almost this kind of vase shape, the kind of neck of the vase almost, they're coming in at us from both sides there. him, try to catch us out. And Ben Davis, who it's good to have him back. I think Connor Golson obviously enjoys playing with him. They can read each other's game well, but nevertheless he had a few slip-ups at Dingwall. Understandable, he's a long time out injured, and he had another one tonight early on before we went a goal up where he fell on his backside basically, and it was great reactions from Alan McGregor justifying his selection, getting out there really quickly and clearing the danger that saved the day. Into the second half, we're 2-0 up. Alfie has a little moment early on in the second half where there's a few ricks in the Motherwell defence that leave him. He's basically out-muscled the Motherwell goalkeeper, and he's in a situation where the Motherwell goalkeeper is beyond him. He's close at the goals. He tries to backheel the ball through two Motherwell defenders who've come back. Makes a bit of an arse of it, to be honest with you. He should have finished that a lot more easily, and that's why you thought when he got a chance a few minutes later at the edge of the box, he's going to have a shot, to try and prove that he's still got it. He likes to make up for mistakes with a spectacular goal, but no, showing great maturity. He lays it off to the incoming Malik Tillman on his right hand side. Great game tonight again, Tillman. He kind of beats a couple of Motherwell defenders and the goalkeeper with the eyes and slots it away into the far corner. 3-0, game done. Motherwell had the ball in the back of the net. The goal was disallowed, and nobody was watching it because we're all looking at Alfredo Morelos just sitting down and then lying down in the park in the way that players who've, something's went, something's popped, something's pinged, the way you do when you have a kind of serious injury. I haven't heard any news, guys. You might know something I don't at this point in time, if he's okay, if he's not okay, but he was reacting like a man who'd suffered a serious injury, and that's something that always happened to us before Old Firm games, doesn't it? So hopefully Alfie's alright, because there was no Antonio Cholak on the bench tonight. His promised return again delayed. There was no sign of Kamar Roof. But the one thing I will say about the Rangers and the way we're playing just now under Michael Beale is, for example, at Dingwall the other night, if Kamar Roof had been playing, I think we'd have won that game 3 or 4-0. We're getting to the point where you can see one more player coming back from injury, one more decent player signed in January. We're going to start motoring a bit more. It may not be enough for the Old Firm game in the 2nd of January, which we would need to win to have any chance of winning this league, but we're definitely heading in the right direction under Michael Beale. If anybody can tell me what the situation, what the formation is with the midfield and the attack, I would be glad to know. Answers on a postcard. I know it's ostensibly a 4-3-3 tonight. I think it was more of a 4-2-3-1, but that's disingenuous because it's so fluid, it's motoring so well, and it's causing confusion to the opposition, but not confusion to our players, who seem to know what's happening there. They know what Michael Beale wants, and as he's getting the players he wants to fulfil those roles in midfield, it's becoming more and more apparent that we have the ability to overrun teams. As I say, we had John Lundstrom sitting deeper tonight. Ryan Jack was supposed to be his partner on the two in midfield, but Ryan Jack was always pushing up, really well advanced. The fullbacks, Bornat and Tav, they're really high up the park all the time as well. And it's Ryan Kent who has this kind of roving commission. He's this kind of minister without portfolio. He's really making things tick. Sometimes he's partnering Alfie up front. It's almost like a 4-4-2. Sometimes he's at the head of a diamond. Sometimes he's going out to his usual berth on the left-hand side. But there's all this talk about young Adam Devine from Michael Beale, saying that if young Adam Devine could play his natural position in the right hand side, which he did tonight, coming on late on for Tav once the game was won, you'd get 25% more out of him. I think we're getting 25% more out of Ryan Kent just now, and it's making the whole team motor really quietly, not spectacularly. Everybody's got their feet on the ground, but I think by the time we get Celtic here on Monday, hopefully there'll be a bit more kind of raucousness in the stands, a bit more positivity, because we're going to need it. They're doing well, Celtic. They're showing no signs of slipping up. I just hope the players can think, for once we're not waiting for somebody else to do something to Celtic, we've finally got a chance to do it ourselves. Listen guys, that's enough from me just now. If I don't talk to you before the new year, I hope you have an absolutely great one. Before that, on Friday night, we're going to have Craig, and he'll be hosting, I think, Brian Archer and one other who's going to kill me for not remembering who it is. It's David Fraser. So that'll be a cracking main pod on Friday night, reviewing tonight's game in a lot more detail than I can manage, and looking ahead to that big game on the 2nd of January. If I don't speak to you before it, guys, I hope you have an absolutely smashing new year. All the very best, and thanks for listening to me. Cheers.